The party wasn't my idea. My sister insisted on organizing it. A small family dinner, she said, nothing fancy. Just everyone together. Birthdays in our family had always been practical things. Cake from the grocery store. A few gifts. My dad making some comment about getting older and needing to work harder. Still, when I walked into my parents' house that evening, something about the mood felt different. Not hostile exactly, but watchful. Everyone already knew things about me that I hadn't explained. The past year hadn't looked good from the outside. I'd left my job, moved into a smaller apartment, and quietly sold my car. Word travels fast in families, especially when information is incomplete. My dad had filled in the blanks the way he always did. To him, struggle meant failure. Dinner started normally enough. My mom brought out plates. My sister talked about work. My uncle made a few harmless jokes about how birthdays stopped being exciting after 30. My dad stayed mostly quiet at first, but I could feel him watching me. Eventually the conversation turned toward money. It often did when he was around. Responsibility, planning, discipline, his favorite subjects. You know, he said at one point, leaning back in his chair, people think life gets easier with age. It doesn't. It gets more expensive. A few people nodded. You've got to learn how to handle your own bills before anything else. He didn't say my name. He didn't have to. Someone gave a small laugh. My cousin looked down at his drink. My mom kept cutting the cake like she hadn't noticed the direction the conversation was drifting. I stayed quiet. Arguing with my father had never led anywhere useful. After dinner, my sister clapped her hands and said it was time for cake and gifts. A few small boxes appeared on the table. Nothing extravagant. Then my dad stood up. I've got something, he said. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a plain white envelope. The room quieted slightly. My dad didn't usually do sentimental gestures, so the moment carried a strange kind of anticipation. He handed the envelope to me. Go ahead, he said. I opened it. Empty. I looked inside again, just to be sure. Nothing. My dad smiled faintly. A man who can't pay his own bills, he said, loud enough for everyone to hear, doesn't deserve gifts. For a second there was silence. Then someone chuckled. My uncle laughed a little louder. My cousin joined in. Even my sister gave a nervous laugh, like she wasn't sure whether this was meant to be serious or funny. I stood there holding the empty envelope. The humiliation wasn't explosive. It was slower than that. The kind that spreads quietly through a room, while everyone decides how they're supposed to react. No one defended me. No one told him to stop. My dad seemed satisfied. The message had landed. I folded the envelope once and set it on the table beside the cake. Fair enough, I said. That surprised him. He probably expected an argument. Or silence. Instead I sat back down. The conversation moved on, but something had changed. People spoke a little more carefully now. My dad seemed relaxed, like he had corrected something that needed correcting. I watched everyone the way you do when you realize you're seeing a pattern clearly for the first time. My father had always believed authority came from being the one who judged others first. And for most of my life, that worked. Eventually my aunt asked the question everyone had been circling around all night. So how are things going with work now? She meant it kindly. But the room quieted again. My dad leaned back in his chair. I took a sip of water before answering. Actually, I said, things finalized this week. My sister looked up. Finalized what? The restructuring. My dad frowned slightly. What restructuring? I glanced at him. Your mortgage. The confusion in the room was immediate. What are you talking about? He said. You remember when the bank sent that notice last winter? I asked calmly. About the refinancing issue. His expression tightened. That was handled. Not exactly. No one laughed now. I bought the loan, I said. The words landed quietly but heavily. My mom stopped moving entirely. My sister blinked at me. My dad leaned forward. That's not funny. I'm not joking, I said. The bank was selling several distressed mortgages in a package. My investment group acquired them. I let the silence sit there. Yours was one of them. The room felt smaller somehow. You're saying you own my mortgage, my dad said. I'm saying the loan transferred to our firm, I replied. And I'm the partner overseeing it. He stared at me like he was trying to rearrange the information into something that made sense. You don't even have a job. I left my job to start the firm, I said. Another quiet moment passed. No one knew yet because the deal only closed a few days ago. I looked down at the empty envelope still sitting beside the cake. Timing's funny like that. My dad didn't say anything. The authority he'd been using all evening had nowhere to go now. And I didn't push it further. There's no emergency, I said calmly. The payment structure stays the same. Nothing changes for you right now. I stood up and adjusted my jacket. But maybe we can skip the financial lectures for a while. No one tried to stop me when I walked toward the door. Behind me, the party continued, quieter now, like everyone was suddenly aware that the story they thought they understood had been incomplete. Outside, the night air felt cool and steady. For the first time all evening, I realized I wasn't embarrassed anymore.